So in the last two videos, we have been talking about in how many ways can we use underscores in Python and what are access modifiers. What are the differences between different access modifiers like public, protected and private, and how they relate to in Python. In this video, we are going to talk about a very famous Python interview question, that is, what is name mangling? Hey, what is up everyone? So this is Sukanto Roy and you are watching Python interview question series. This is the 7th video of the series. If you have not been following this particular playlist, I will leave the link in the card and in the description to check it out. Also, timestamps will be in the description. So if you want to skip to a specific part of the video, feel free to do so. So today's question is, what is name mangling in Python? To understand what is name mangling, we will first have to understand what are private class members. So if you don't know anything about access modifiers and what private class members are, I'll recommend you check my previous video. I'll leave the link in the card and also in the description. So you can check that out first and then come to this particular video. So traditionally, the private class members are members that cannot be accessed from anywhere outside of the class it is defined, but that particular feature is not present in Python. Python language does not give you the support to restrict access to a particular class resource by declaring it private. But since there is a valid use case for private class members, that is to avoid name classes between the parent and subclasses, Python gives you a limited support of that particular feature, and that support is called name mangling. So name mangling at its core is nothing but a mechanism using which Python handles name override between parent classes and subclasses. So how it does that? It does that by changing the name of a specific type of identifier. So in Python, if there is any identifier that prefixes with double underscore, at least 2 leading double underscore or at most 1 trailing double underscore, then Python interpreter changes the name of this particular identifier and prefixes it by the name of the class itself to make it unique. So this is how Python tackles the name conflicts between the parent class and the subclass. We are going to see a complete example for this in the upcoming section. So stick around for that if you don't understand the particular concept here. This mangling is done without regard to the syntactic position of the identifier. What does that mean? That means that it does not matter that inside the class definition where you have kept the particular identifier, wherever you have kept the particular identifier with 2 leading double underscore, Python interpreter is going to see that and it is going to change the name to the mangled name of underscore, class name, double underscore and the variable name itself. So let's see a quick example before we move forward. So before we go to the main example, I'll quickly show you a demo. Say I have a class A, and in that class, in init, I am not giving anything, passing this, and let me give this a function, and this is also let's pass. Now when we are creating this, if you see inside that particular class, you are going to see something strange. See, this particular function that had 2 leading underscores has been changed to underscore A, which is the class name, and then the variable, the function name. So this is basically name mangling. Why Python does it and why is it useful, we are going to see that in the next part. So the next part is, what is the purpose of name mangling? Why are we doing this? So the purpose of name mangling is basically to avoid accidental overrides. Name mangling is helpful in letting subclasses override methods without breaking intra-class method calls. We are going to see the next example which is going to explain this particular thing. So I have created one example. I hope you can see it. So see this example. We have created one class that is named add items, and in the initializer of the class we are passing a iterable, and we are also declaring a list inside the initializer and calling a update function that is passing the iterable. And what is the update function doing? The update function is adding the items in this particular list. So this is the whole class. It adds item to list, and in the display function we are displaying the particular items. So let's see that. Let's create a particular instance of this class with the iterable, and then call the display function. So you can see when we call the display function, it is showing the add items. Now we can directly access the items list as well. So if we do this, we can directly access the list and it is having no problem. Now this is great, but what happens when we do something like this? We created a subclass of that above class, add item subclass, and in that we have not specified any init method. We have only specified one method, that is update. And what this is doing is it is taking two iterables, keys and values, zipping them together and adding them to the list. So when we are going to create a particular instance of this class, add item subclass, it is going to call the initializer of its parent, and it is going to initialize the list, and then it is going to pass that iterable to the update function. Now what problem will occur is the subclass also have a update function, and when we have the same name function inside a subclass, the initializer is going to call this subclass instead of calling the parent subclass. I will show you by creating an example instance. I am creating add items subclass. Okay, let me first run it. I am creating a add item subclass and I am passing a iterable. Because we have not initialized it, we have not given a specific initializer for this subclass, it is going to require the iterable that the parent class needs. So we are going to pass the same list that we passed in this example. We are going to pass 1, 2, 3 here, and we are going to call the display function as we did in the last example. But see, what happened is update is missing one required positional argument value. Why it happened is because this update function call that is going in the init function is calling this function. So this is the problem that can occur when you don't have private class members. Now how Python tackles it? You can tackle it by changing these names. Instead of keeping them as this public, we can add double underscore and we can take the advantage of the name mangling part. So let me do one thing. I will also change the item list name. That is not necessary for this particular example. Okay, I will not change this right now. Let me just change the function name, and what I am going to do is I am going to change the names here. Now see, this is the same program. Let me take it here so that we can compare. Let me change the size. See, now we have the same class and we have the same subclass, but instead of having update, we are having double underscore update. And in both of the classes, we are having double underscore update. But what do you think? Are we going to see the same issue here? Let's see. I am running both of these classes and then I am running this particular segment. Okay, it worked, but how it worked? It is the same example, right? We added these classes and both of these classes have the same name, but it is not throwing error. But previously with this same scenario, it was throwing error. Why it happened? It is because of name mangling. So if you see inside this class, let me show you the function name, how it changes once you run the particular class is, see, this is the name underscore add items double underscore update, and what the name has become for the subclass. For the subclass, the name has become underscore add item subclass and double underscore update. So you can see both of these names have the same name, both of these methods have the same name, but at runtime they became unique. Both of these names became unique. So as we are prefixing the name with the class name itself, we can be rest assured that these name clashes that happened like in the previous example are not going to happen when we are going to take advantage of double underscores. Now let's see one more part, that is naming conventions. As we saw, when we use double leading underscore, we change the name. But is it only double underscores? No. So the convention is, for name angling to take effect for any class member, the name of the class member should have at least 2 leading underscores and at most 1 trailing underscore. So I have created some few examples. So see, double underscore variable, it is okay, the name will be changed. Underscore variable, not okay. One single underscore is not going to cut it. We are not going to change the name. The interpreter is not going to change the name. I don't know how many underscore, but it is more than 5-6 underscores. And then the variable name, it is also okay. At least 2 leading underscores should be there. At most there can be n number of leading underscores. It does not matter. Is this going to work? Double underscore variable and also a trailing underscore. It is going to work. Now will this work? Double underscore variable name and a trailing double underscore. It is not going to work. Name angling does not happen when we have more than 1 trailing underscore. And what about this? Only 1 trailing underscore? It is also not going to happen. So there should be at least 2 leading underscore and there can be at most 1 leading underscore. So if you want to see an example for that also, just a quick example I will show you. So if I have, say, class test and there I am giving function name self, and also let me give function name with the 1 trailing underscore, and let me give 2 trailing underscore, 2 leading and 2 trailing underscore. We say dunder function. So these 3 examples if I just give, let's check how the names have been changed. So see, the first function with a lot of leading underscores has been changed. The second function with 2 leading underscore, 1 trailing underscore, the name has been changed. But this function, the name will not be changed. The name has not been changed. Okay, so this was a short video about name angling. With that, here comes the end of this video. If you have found it useful, please like, comment and subscribe so you can get updates for my upcoming videos. Thank you very much. Bye.